This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jack Massey over Zoom. Jack, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Thanks for having me on.
No, I appreciate your time, mate.
Yeah, no problem.
Obviously, in uncertain times at the minute, I know you had to get back out at the back end of last year, but kind of going back to that, Jack, just reflect on your victory over Muhammad Ali Bait Farid.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was a tough fight to come for the win. He had a good record, and he showed that he could punch a bit. But it was good to get a fight in that year. It was back end of the year. I was thinking, we're going to get a fight in. We was lucky enough to get a fight in, and it's put me in good stead for this year.
On the night, you seemed to be, down to you and your boxing skill set, relatively comfortable. You seem to be quite at ease in there. Is that how it felt, or did you feel kind of under pressure at times, or did you feel pressure under the circumstances, knowing that it had been so long since you last fought because of COVID and what have you?
Yeah, a little bit. I felt a little bit of ring rust. It's different as well. There was hardly any atmosphere, so I could feel that a little bit. We had a very, very long camp. We had two fights cancelled, so we had a long camp. But just stuck to the game plan. Knew he could punch, so I just got on my toes and boxed him, and didn't let him get inside.
You mentioned it kind of is set you up for this year nicely now. Heading into the rest of 2021, we're already a month through it. What would you like to kind of push on to and achieve this year? What have you spoke about your management team and with Frank Warren and what have you about?
Definitely look for some major titles like the British title, Commonwealth, European. Billam-Smith and Jumah are fighting in March. Look for the winner of that, possibly in summertime. But see what comes off. We're looking to be out March time, mid to end of March. So get a fight then, and then rock and roll.
You said you're looking around the mid to end of March. Have you got any kind of opponents lined up? Have you been sent a list of opponents to at least consider?
Not yet, no. If something crops up, it's there for the taking. We've been in the gym since the new year, and we're in camp training for March. So if something crops up, but if not, we'll be getting a fight anyway on the Frank Warren show. So
we are, of course, hoping that we're coming towards some form of the end, or not necessarily the end, just kind of getting back to normal life in the near future with the vaccine and what have you. But for time being, are you feeling a pressure to make the most of these opportunities when they're presented? Because it's so hard for fighters to get onto shows currently. The small circuits just completely been suspended effectively because promoters can't afford to put small horse shows on, and it is effectively down to the big time promoters to get the fighters out. Are you feeling a pressure to make the most of your chances when they are presented?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was lucky to get a fight in last year, but I'm at that level now where I'm ready for these big title fights and the British title fights and stuff like that. So I'm ready for that now. So when these fights come, I'm taking them. So it won't be the case of we won't take the fight. We need a few more fights before then. But I'm ready now. So whatever pops up, it'll be there for the taking.
Your experiences in your previous British title bout with Richard Riakporhe, when you reflect on it, you may not have been successful on the night, but what do you take away from it? What did you learn from it?
Take away a good 12-round tough fight. It's the first time I've been 12 rounds. It was a good hard fight. So it's all experience. It's all learning. You can't beat that experience. So especially being in front of all those people at your call, in front of the cameras, under the big lights, on the big screen. So, taking away the experience from that is the main thing.
There is some brilliant fights to be made domestically at cruiserweight. Is there anybody in particular? I know you said you're looking at titles, but away from, say, Billam-Smith and Jumah, who are going to contest that vacant British title, is there anybody else you have your eye on?
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, whoever's got the titles, I'm coming for the titles now. You got the European, which Tommy McCarthy's got. Nothing against him. He's a nice guy. We both get on, but whoever's got the titles, I'm coming for him. So it's Yeah.
What do you make of Billam-Smith versus Jumoh? How do you think the fight will play out, Jack?
I'm swaying more towards Billam-Smith, but I've not seen a great deal of Jumah, to be honest. But you know, I've heard it's got the makings of a good fight. You know, I need to watch a bit more of Jumah, see what he's about. But yeah, probably go for Billam-Smith on that one.
Sticking with kind of the cruiserweight division, but somebody who's on the verge of fighting for their first world title, domestic name once again, Lawrence Okolie. He's going to face Glovatsky. Just your thoughts on that one?
You know, it's going to be a good fight. Well, it's either going to be a good fight or a messy fight. I don't know. I've sparred with Glovatsky quite a few times. You know, he's a good fighter. He's at world level. Okolie's stepping up to world level, but you know, Okolie's great at what he does. He makes fights awkward. You know, he's big, long, gangly and holds, and he likes to dictate a fight. So, you know, he could do very well in that fight.
You mentioned you've sparred Glovatsky on a few occasions. What can you let everybody know about him, and what should people over here who haven't seen him box yet be in store for from him?
You know, he's you can tell he's world level when you spar with him. You know, he can punch, he can whack, and he can, you know, he's just, you just know he's got that knowledge and that experience when you get in the ring with him. So, you know, he's a good operator and a southpaw. So he's you know, he's a good fighter.
We briefly touched on the loss to Richard earlier on, Jack, but just to kind of circle back to it almost, is he somebody again you'd love the rematch with? I know fighters are bred differently. You all have kind of that, you have a pride about you, and you'd want to restore. I don't really want to say restore that. It's not necessarily what I want to say, but you want to prove everybody that on that night it wasn't your best performance, and you can produce better, and you can defeat Richard Riakporhe. Is that kind of something you want to right the wrongs of?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what he's up to at the minute. I've not seen anything, but yeah, if we could make another big fight for a title, absolutely, I'd love to get that fight, definitely. But like I said, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if you saying anything, but it's gone quite quiet at the minute. But
I don't know anything personally. I think last I heard, obviously, he vacated the title and he was looking towards that European stage.
Yeah.
From your experiences with him, do you feel like he is a European level fighter?
Do you know what? I think he can progress a lot. You know, he's a good fighter. He's got all you know, he's made. You know, he's tall, he's rangy. You know, he can punch. You know, if you can neaten him up a little bit, you know, he's got the makings of a good fighter. So, you know, everyone's progressing, everyone's learning. You know, boxing, no one stops learning in boxing. Even you know, Floyd Mayweather, he's always learning. So yeah, I think he can progress, definitely.
Right, Jack, just before I leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening, because I know you're a busy man, you've got a few things to sort out. I'm going to leave a final word to yourself for everyone who's going to tune in and follow you for the rest of this year. What would you like to say to them?
You know, follow my journey. Definitely get to a world title soon. You know, keep your eye out and give us a follow on the socials.
Jack, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you for the first time in 2021. I'm sure it will not be the last. I'm looking forward to hearing some fight news from you soon. And thanks for Speed to Boxing Social.
Yeah. Thanks very much, mate. Thanks for having me on.